most people hear the word karma, they imagine a system of cosmic punishment and reward. But karma is not managed by any deity keeping score. It is the natural rhythm of consciousness, the way energy balances itself in motion. Every thought, every word, every action carries a vibration. That vibration ripples outward into the great field of creation, and in time, returns to its origin. Not as punishment, but as feedback, the universe's way of teaching the soul about itself. If a hand strikes out in anger, the echo that returns will teach what anger feels like. If a heart gives in love, the echo that returns will reveal the fragrance of giving. This is how the soul learns, through direct experience of its own energy. Karma is not moral in the human sense. It is simply cause and effect, action and consequence. The same law that governs gravity governs karma. It doesn't care who drops the stone. It only knows that what is thrown outward will fall back in accordance with the law. But here is the deeper truth. You are not separate from the law. You are the field in which it moves. Every time you act, the universe responds, not because it is watching, but because you are woven into it. The law of karma is the law of learning, of consciousness realizing itself through experience. And until that realization is complete, the wheel continues to turn. Each life offers another classroom, another set of mirrors, another chance to recognize what remains unhealed. Through pleasure and pain, gain and loss, the soul gathers wisdom. It learns what harmonizes and what divides, what brings peace and what disturbs it. This is why the saints say, karma is mercy in disguise. It is love wearing the mask of consequence. For without feedback, there can be no growth. Without reflection, no awakening. In the deeper teachings, karma is not just about doing, it is about being. Every moment you hold a thought, an emotion, a desire, you radiate energy into the great field of life. That energy shapes not only your personal destiny, but the shared dream we call the world. Collective karma, nations, families, generations, arises when many souls vibrate in the same pattern. Fear attracts fear. Compassion attracts peace. The field reorganizes itself to reflect the dominant vibration. So when you transform your own energy, you shift the pattern of the whole. That is how one awakened being can heal thousands without words. Karma is not one thing. It moves through three intertwined currents, like rivers flowing from the same mountain. The mystics call them Sanchit, Prarabdha, and Kriyaman, the stored, the unfolding, and the newly created. Each current serves the soul's awakening. When you understand their rhythm, you begin to live consciously within the law, not as its subject, but as its student. 1. Sanchit Karma, the storehouse. Sanchit Karma is the total record of your journey, the memory field of the soul across lifetimes. Every thought, word, and action leaves an impression in subtle matter, like ripples etched in the ocean of the causal plane. These impressions do not disappear. They rest, dormant, waiting for the right time and environment to mature. You can think of Sanchit Karma as the vast archive of potential experiences, everything you have yet to balance or integrate. A person may carry seeds of courage from one life, seeds of fear from another, and seeds of compassion from countless acts of love. When conditions align, those seeds sprout into destiny. That is why certain tendencies seem innate. Sanchit Karma is not a prison. It is a library. And in each incarnation, the soul chooses a few books to study. 2. Prarabdha Karma, the ripening. From this vast library, a small selection of karmas ripen into the present lifetime. This is called Prarabdha, the portion that has become your script for this birth. Your body, family, relationships, and key events all belong to this category. They are the conditions needed for specific lessons to unfold. If Sanchit is the field of seeds, Prarabdha is the handful that have sprouted in this garden called you. You cannot change the fact that the tree is bearing fruit, but you can decide how to meet it. The wise do not curse their destiny. They recognize that every circumstance carries a hidden teaching. Loss refines compassion. Illness awakens humility. Success tests the purity of motive. When met consciously, Prarabdha becomes not a chain, but a teacher. That is why the saints say, "Do not ask, 'Why is this happening to me?' Ask, 'What is this trying to show me?' For even painful karma is grace in disguise. It brings to light what must be healed for freedom to come." Third, Kriyaman karma, the living current. The third stream, Kriyaman, is the karma you are creating right now, through every thought, choice, and intention in this moment. Here lies the mystery of free will. Past karma defines the landscape you walk through, but current action decides how you walk it. In every reaction, you are either adding to the cycle or dissolving it. If you meet anger with anger, you write another chapter of conflict. If you meet anger with calm awareness, you end that story forever. Most people believe karma is something they are stuck in, but the truth is, karma is something they are writing right now. Each moment of mindfulness interrupts centuries of unconscious momentum. Each act of forgiveness burns lifetimes of resentment. That is why meditation, remembrance of the sound current, and conscious living are so powerful. They shift you from being a reactive participant to a creative cooperator in the law. You begin to generate harmony intentionally. You stop being a victim of karma and become an artisan of destiny. So the soul moves through these three rivers: Sanchit, the stored; Prarabdha, the unfolding; Kriyaman, the new. Together they form the current we call my life. But beyond them flows a greater river still, the sound itself, the Shabad, which washes all three clean in its ascent toward the source. The Wheel of Rebirth. When the body completes its cycle, the soul does not die. It simply withdraws from the dense garment of flesh and returns to subtler layers of its own creation. Death is not an ending. It is a movement of attention. As easily as one steps from a dream into waking, the soul steps from one realm into another, carrying with it the impressions it has woven through thought, feeling, and desire. Most beings leave this world carrying unfinished vibrations, longings, attachments, fears, and loves. These are the vasanas, the magnetic residues of experience. They do not belong to the body. They belong to the consciousness itself. If a musician departs still yearning for the sound of her instrument, that longing will call her back to a life of sound. If a heart departs bound by hatred, that hatred will call it back to meet its mirror. If a soul departs in equanimity and devotion, its resonance will lift it to purer realms. Thus, the next birth is not assigned by judgment. It is drawn by resonance. Like seeks like. You awaken exactly where your vibration belongs. A journey through the planes. As the soul passes beyond the physical sheath, it awakens first in the astral plane, the realm of emotion and desire. Here, thought and feeling become substance. The astral world holds many layers. The lower regions formed of desire and fear, the middle where beauty and creativity thrive, and the higher, radiant with selfless love. What we call heavens and hells are simply these varying frequencies, as temporary reflections of our own inner vibration until balance returns. When the charge of emotion is balanced, the soul rises into the causal plane, the realm of pure thought and memory, where the blueprint of karma is stored. Here, the soul reviews its previous lives, seeing cause and consequence as one tapestry. From this level, the next incarnation is chosen, not always by the conscious mind, but by the soul's own intelligence. It selects parents, place, and timing that will best continue its learning. Then, descending once more, it gathers around the astral womb, the subtle matrix from which the new life will emerge, clothing itself in layers of energy, and at last, entering the physical womb, where spirit and matter are joined. Thus, the soul crystallizes into form, the body you now inhabit. Each layer, causal, astral, physical, is a body the soul wears, a frequency band through which karma operates. The causal stores impressions, the astral expresses them as desire and emotion, and the physical acts them out in space and time. This is how the wheel of births and deaths continues, not by external decree, but by inner momentum. The goal is not endless repetition, it is refinement. The wheel turns until the soul remembers what it truly is, a spark of the infinite, not the roles it plays within creation. Each lifetime is a classroom. Suffering is not punishment. It is feedback guiding the soul toward harmony. Pleasure is not reward. It is a taste of the unity that awaits when separation ends. When the soul finally sees that all actions return to itself, that all others are mirrors, it begins to live differently. Compassion replaces blame. Awareness replaces reaction. The chain of cause and effect weakens. At a certain point, the wheel no longer serves. The soul has learned through thousands of experiences what no book could teach: the futility of grasping, the sweetness of surrender, the peace of alignment with the sound. Then karma ceases to bind. Desire dissolves. The current turns inward, homeward. From that moment, rebirth becomes optional. The liberated soul may return to serve, or remain merged in the ocean of its source. Either way, the wheel no longer compels it. So long as desire calls outward, the cycle continues. But when the heart's deepest desire becomes God alone, the current reverses. The sound draws the soul back through the plains, burning residual karma in its light, until nothing remains but the pure consciousness that always was. That is the true end of rebirth. Not escape from the world, but absorption in the love that created it.